You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things because I'm not a hero. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
They'll hunt you.
You'll hunt me. You'll condemn me. Set the dogs on me. Because that's what needs to happen. Because sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more. Sometimes people deserve to have their faith rewarded.
Hey, my Emo brothers, back again. And, you know, it's funny, man. I have these odd dreams. And then when I pop out of them, then a thought pops into my head. And so now I'm here, phone in hand, doing a morning talk. What's it about? Well, this morning talk is talking about the Winter Soldier chip that goes off inside our heads as black men. And I just did a video talking about the conscious community and the brother that obviously been in the conscious community most of his life and still is, and very proud of it, talking about how the conscious community actually praises women and emphasizes women and pushes women up to the forefront. And they know that they're doing it and not holding women responsible for what they do. Women are off limits. And I know that is a chip, a matriarchal Winter Soldier chip that goes off inside black men's minds. That's what Moynihan was talking about. He wasn't talking about just the women doing something to the men, even though it was taken that way. He's talking about how the whole structure is formed and how the men are complicit in this structure, in this milieu, in this pathology, as Dr. Clark talks about. So I got to thinking that the thing about the passport bros wars that's going on, which is really over nothing. If you look at it, whether the guys trick, whether the guys brag about it, whether the guys talk about the dates that they go on and show it off, it's really nothing, especially as small of a group as these guys actually are. And they're really a very small group. That the game people, the dating coaches that have nothing to do with the passport bros and the bros going out and doing what they're doing, they're completely separate. But the game coaches, dating coaches that teach you how to be more attractive and more entertaining to black women, have something against that. And at first I thought it was just money. Okay, you're taking clients away from them. You're taking influence away from them. So they're going to attack the passport bros. They don't even talk about the dating coaches. For the most part, at least not to my knowledge. But you hear the attacks upon their manhood, attacks upon their personhood, their personal development, which those two things shouldn't come into question. Your attractiveness to women, which is fine as far as personal development, that's fine. But the thing is, it has very little to do with your development as a man. It really doesn't. It really has very little to do with it. You can perfectly develop as a man, as a person, without ever really dating or being attracted to women. You can. Manhood and you having sex with a woman are two different things, okay? Is it easier and more traditional if you do it that way? It sure is. But you developing as a person doesn't have anything to do with that. I'm just saying, if you look at it esoterically, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. I know how black men are. But anyway, when I hear the dating coaches go after the black men about going abroad and finding a mate or finding a wife or whatever it is, because it's easier, less friction, they're easier to find because they're traditional. The things I hear that the dating coaches and the game guys say are exactly the same thing that the women say. They line up exactly with what the women say. And that's not unusual, because that's the same thing happens with the conscious community or the Hotep guys, right? What they're saying to the men line up exactly with what the women say. Dating coaches and game coaches do not hold the women accountable. Same thing with the Hotep guys or the conscious community guys or the black nationalists. They don't hold the women accountable. It's always the man. And then I hear a guy like FD Signifier, who's a black intersectional feminist that's male, which makes no sense. And then the guys have nerve enough to talk about dominance, black male dominance and black male alphaness and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, you're talking an act of what? Submission. And they don't realize you're talking about an act of submission to the what? To the gynocracy, to the matriarchy that you've been raised in for the last 200-300 years. And it's uncomfortable for men to go outside that matriarchy. So you pick that one little piece about some guys that might have made it rain over in Colombia, or bought prostitutes down in Mexico, or gone to the DR and had sex and showed pictures off of it. White men have whole websites to tell you exactly how to do it, exactly what to pay for, and they also tell you what the going price is in each country. But black men can't do it. What's the difference between black men and white men, and black men and Latino men, and black men and Asian men, and black men and Middle Eastern men? Those men don't have the winter soldier chip. We do. So we have this big thing going back and forth with black men, especially in the red pill space, with the purple pill women, or really the blue pill women, and the so-called red pill men on the game side, on the dating side, going against the black men that want some kind of agency and independence and freedom. And they don't recognize the winter soldier chip inside their own brain, which fascinates me, which absolutely fascinates me, that I'm hearing black female talking points coming out of supposedly red pill guys' mouths. I don't have any problem with gaming guys up, having them more socially aware, socially acceptable, okay, to be the best version of themselves. I have no problem with that. I don't. I do have a problem with the sign language coming from black men toward other black men. I really do. And that's what I've been hearing. The game guys, or the game side, or the dating coach side, or the side that what they call anti-tricking or anti-passport bros, they don't realize how much they sound like black women. They don't. They don't realize that the black women have whispered those code words into their brains, into their ears, and they've turned. They start attacking men that they should help, and then claim that they're trying to help black men. Hell, the women don't even have to attack these guys, these black men, this SYSBM movement. They don't have to attack them. The black men in the group that supposedly are together as brothers attack them for the women. They become proxies. And this leads me to believe, as a structure, that this matriarchy is never going to go away. There is no such thing as the matriarchy becoming equitable or changing its shape, because the men inside it are comfortable with it. They don't want to get rid of the matriarchy. They don't want to get rid of the gynocracy. They want to nest in it. Men want to nest in the gynocracy. Black men want to serve their masters. But they don't want to admit that their masters are black women. And we pointed out to them that they are proxies or slaves to the gynocracy. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to leave. They push back. They fight you. They attack you. They take the same weapons and words that the black women spew out, and they use it on their own kind, against their own what? Against their own interests. Because I thought that, especially with this is where this is concerned, because me and the folk guys in SYSBM, we talked years ago, and they asked me, is it okay? I don't know why they were asking me permission, because I'm not their owner. I am not their agent. I'm not a proxy for the gynocracy. They told me, is it okay for them to leave the black community to go be happy? And I said, yeah. If the community does not serve you, any community does not serve you, do what you need to do to be the best version of yourself. Be the happiest. You don't even have to be the best version of yourself, okay? If the best version of yourself is going to fuck with your psyche and fuck with your happiness and fuck with your well-being, and let that shit go. 90% of people are not the best version of themselves. Very few people reach that pinnacle of being the best version of themselves. Even the ones we see physically, even the ones that we see earn a whole bunch of money, okay? They are not in the pursuit of the best version of themselves. including the game guys. Man, I don't even want to go in on that, right? And the game men, the dating coaches are not in pursuit of being the best version of themselves. They're not. They aren't. I hear the rhetoric that they talk, but they're not pursuing the best version of themselves. Okay? They find a system that works for them, that supposedly makes them happy. I hope it does. And they teach it to everybody else, which is fine. But the thing is, what it leads me to believe that this system, this ideology, this culture is so embedded in both men and women that really there's no way out of this stuff, right? There isn't. The only thing that is changing the black community, and really changing the own black community, because trust and believe, if the black community was separate, it would function exactly the same. There would be no elevation. Men would fall right behind it and keep doing the exact same thing, right? Culture takes a different environment. Okay, a different environment has to be raised or constructed for the culture to change. Other than that, it won't change. You look at indigenous people where their surroundings have never changed. They've been doing the same thing for 10, 15, 20, 30,000 years. They've been doing the exact same thing because the environment never changed. The only reason that the black culture is changing is because it's been forced to change from the outside, which is the broader white community, by integrating your neighborhoods, gentrifying your neighborhoods, making you go to school with others. So by them doing that, the Z's, Generation Z, is starting to change. They're having a different outlook. They're having a different ideology. They don't have race loyalty anymore because that is not their experience on the ground, at school, and amongst their socialization groups. Not the same thing. That's what's causing the change. It isn't red pill rhetoric, and it's not even black men preaching whatever it is. Now, that may take a hold of Kevin Samuels. It may take a hold of a little red pill here and there because it lines up with what they're already doing. Good ideas are normally taken in because it's lined up with what people are already doing on the ground anyway. But as far as black culture is matriarchal. Black culture is a gynocracy. And we see this biannual fight between black men that are supposedly looking for their independence from black women against each other. And that's merely that winter soldier chip going off, and you got to find another black brother to fight against. In shame. Just like they complain about how black women can come into a red pill space and everybody will line up and trick on them with super chats and cash apps and stuff like that. And they'll be the fastest growing channel inside a black male space. Black men are winter soldiers and minions. They're looking for a black woman to follow. And until we correct that chip, get rid of that brainwashing, basically, as far as the broader community of black people, it's not going to go anywhere. The only reason I'm here, the only reason that we're here as a group, as the so-called intelligentsia, is to get a better deal for black men. We ain't trying to sign language black men. We ain't trying to change them into doing something that they don't want to do. Hey, you want to go find a black woman and serve under her? Go ahead. What we want is a better deal in society for black boys and black men. Personally, I'm tired of black men being at the bottom of every stat there is in the United States. Employment, jail, incarceration, homelessness, education, yada, 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 yada. At some point, man, we got to get sick of that. That's what the political agenda is about. It's not about whether you want to bohog underneath a black woman and serve her needs. That's fine, okay? Black women should sign on to the black male agenda because it's going to give them better servants, man. It's really a win-win for everybody because if black men get better, they're able to make more money and able to be smarter and all that other kind of stuff. Guess what? That makes them better winter soldiers. Basically, all the political independence for black men will do is give them a metal arm so they can beat a Captain America's ass and compete against the white male that doesn't have the chip. But man, that's what I'm hearing, man, with this not even gender warring, man. I mean, because really, for the most part, the gender war against the women is pretty much over. Fighting against the female is pretty much over. What we have now is fighting against other black men that are actually coming in to attack a burgeoning movement. They're actually coming in to defend the females. And after seeing this happen for 8 years, man, and just kind of tired of it. Sergeant Willie Pete said the same thing, man. She gets kind of tired of it, man. Time for brothers to get their passports and kind of leave the matrix, or, leave the battlefield, man. Because it's one thing when the women do it. It's one thing when the women attack it because it's understandable, because it's against their self-interest. It's another thing when the brothers do it, man. Continuously in this space. It's always about some bullshit because you want to be a better concubine or better servant to the black woman. That's really all it's ever about. Who's going to be the best winter soldier and compete for mama? It's all the fights internally. In red pill spaces for brothers, they were just in cahoots. They were just brothers again in the struggle. And they turn on each other because that chip goes off. I'm going to have to start playing black women's broadcast backwards, YouTube, man, because there has to be those embedded code words inside that broadcast. They used to say you get satanic messages by playing records backwards, or playing rock albums backwards. You get satanic messages that are embedded backwards inside the song. I'm beginning to believe that the purple pill women that are coming in giving black men affirmations, if you play it backwards, you're going to get those embedded code words that set off the chip and activate the winter soldier. And after the guy spent about an hour listening to the woman, he starts super chatting $100, $500, right? And really what he's saying is ready to comply. Anyway, before this gets too long, I'm going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.